looking at how you take brands international and how you commercialise the proposition. And that's really what we're going to talk about today. It's what I've done with Nike, brand strategies and partnership deals, and BlackBerry, as well as more B2B brands like Lloyds Bank. Yeah? Okay. Any questions on my career path? All right. So, the first question I always ask people, and this is going to be an interactive session, especially because we're small, is, what is a brand?
It's an impression from customer.
Fabulous. Yes. What else is a brand? Anybody else? Don't be shy.
Reputation.
Reputation. Fantastic. What else? Ladies?
The image. The public knows about you.
Absolutely. Image, reputation. Fantastic. Yes.
So product category of a product.
It's category of your products.
Products.
Fantastic. Love that. What else is a brand?
History. History.
Absolutely. Yes. Good. History. Good. All of these things make up what a brand is. But they are only tools. The slogan, "Just do it," is part of the tools that make up a brand. The colour scheme of Google makes up the brands. The recognition sign of the M of the McDonald's or the red bottom of Christian Louboutin shoes, they all make up the brand. But ultimately, those things are creating what we call an emotional connection with a target audience. That's a brand. A brand ultimately is about creating an emotional connection with your target audience. Now, sometimes people mistake branding and products. I'm just going to differentiate the difference. Your brand, everybody see the board?
Oh yeah.
Someone's trying to get in. Your brand should sit at the top. And then your product categories should sit, or your service categories, products and services, should sit underneath the brand. And each product and service category should have its own target audience. Now, the reason why the brand sits here is because the brand promise, the emotional connection that you're trying to make with your target audience, needs to permeate every single one of your products and service categories. It's a little bit like how we deal with people. If I meet you for the first time and you find that I'm happy and lively and talkative, and that's my personality, and if my brand promise is that I'm going to teach you how to build your brand, then whether I meet you, or whether I meet you, or whether I meet you, who are now different target audiences, I should not change. The promise that I offer you should not change. And branding works in exactly the same way. A lot of companies and a lot of people think about branding as features like a logo or, like you said, a reputation. And those things are just tools that come together to connect with people emotionally. People buy from their hearts, not their heads. And so I want to explain this a little bit further. In marketing terms, we say that the tools that we use, first and foremost, is the brand essence. The brand essence is a set of values that your organisation operates by. So if we think about a brand like Nike. Nike's, as I mentioned earlier, I had the privilege of working with Nike, and Nike's brand essence, their values, is about installing influence and performance. It's about being number one. That's what Nike claims to be about. And so the values of an organisation is all about being the top of the game, about being number one in the organisation. A classic example is when I worked for Nike, you weren't allowed to underperform. When you had your performance interviews, they would give you a criteria based on, are you acting like a top athlete? Are you performing to the best of your ability? Are you training to the best of your ability? Are you delivering results to the best of your ability? Because their values is about performance. It's not only their values externally to the customer, it's also their values internally with their staff. So another thing then is the values feed into your brand promise. How many of you here are perfect? What trainers, sir, do you have?
Mine?
Yes, trainers. What brand name are they?
Nike.
They're Nike,
Yeah.
right. Why did you buy Nike?
I just walked in the shop
Mm-hmm.
because it's closest to my home.
Because it's closest to your home, okay. If they had Adidas, would you have bought them?
It depends.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends. Because I'm not very a fashion people. I don't put my concentrate on fashion. So I put my concentrate on convenience.
On convenience.
Different
Good.
customer behavior. Yeah.
Different customer behaviour. Okay. So, what phone do you have?
Samsung.
Samsung.
Yeah.
Why Samsung and not an Apple?
Because my first intelligent smartphone name is Samsung, so
Yeah.
I get used to the system rather than the Apple system, the iTunes.
Great. So you as a target customer, the brand needs to know that all actually he cares about is convenience. And he cares about something that's going to make his life easier. So if I am the brand manager and I'm trying to reach people like him, the emotional connection is not about product features. It's not about me telling him how cool the Nike trainers are going to make him look or how the interface of an Apple is going to work. Emotionally, I need to connect to what resonates, which is convenience. Okay? I'm going to go around the table. Sir, what brands do you like?
HSBC is good.
HSBC, good. How do they make you feel? Do you bank with them?
Yeah, but
Great. How do they make you feel?
strong, stable, reliable. Yeah.
Good. Stable is a really good word. It's an emotive word because brands and brand managers are trying to connect emotionally. So do you mind me asking, do you have a family, sir?
I have my brother and sister.
Your brother and sisters. Do you have a business?
Yeah, business.
Great. So stability in your business is very important.
Business, yeah.
Right. So that's what they're going to tap into. If HSBC were to sell themselves based on good customer service or I don't know, the lowest interest rate, that wouldn't penetrate emotionally into the consumer. And they know that. So brands don't sell products and features or even service features. They sell based on emotion. They connect emotionally. Okay, let's go around the room. Lovely lady at the back. Hello.
Hello.
What's your name, first of all? Rebecca. I didn't ask your name, sir. Sorry.
John.
John.
Yeah.
What's your name, sir?
Stephen.
Stephen?
Mr. Han.
Mr. Ham. Hello, sir. Okay, Rebecca, what brand do you like?
Chanel.
Chanel. Nice. How does it make you feel?
Luxury.
Luxurious. And how does that make you feel when you put it on?
Very good.
Very good. Do you feel like, ooh la la, look at me? Yeah? So it's an emotional connection. Yeah? Good. What's your name?
Sheena.
Gina. Lovely. What brand do you like?
Apple.
Apple. Okay. How does it make you feel?
It's cool.
It's cool. Great. So how does it make you feel?
Convenient.
It makes you feel convenient. I don't know about you, but I buy Apple everything now. And it just makes me feel, I do, Apple everything. Apple iPhone, Apple everything. And it just makes me feel like, yeah, I'm young again. Like, you know, I'm not young. I have a 3-year-old, so I'm not young. But it makes me feel that way, like I'm on trend. And I'm, like you said, I'm cool.
Fashion.
Like I'm on trend, yeah, I'm fashionable-ish. Okay, excellent. What's your name?
Okay, Michelle, yes.
Michelle.
Yeah, yes.
Excellent. What brand do you like?
I like iPhone. I
You
like
like Apple
Apple.
too?
Yeah,
Yes.
Apple. Yeah.
How does it make you feel?
Yeah, I like Apple. That is because from 20 years ago when Apple is not famous, yeah, I started to use the computer.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah.
How does it make you feel?
I I feel that is proud of proud of my history, that because I have this sense that when 20 years ago I can see what people like and what will be popular.
Fantastic. So pride. You're part of the Apple clique.
Yes.
Trendy, yes.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah.
Fantastic. You notice that I didn't ask you what do you like about it. Branding is not about what you like about it. It's about how do you feel about it. To get a customer to buy is all about connecting with them emotionally, whether it be B2B or B2C brands. And that is the brand promise. The next thing that we use as a tool is the strapline. The strapline is the creative summary of the brand promise. So Nike promises performance. If you put on a Nike trainer, they promise that you will feel like a top athlete. As a result, the strapline is just do it. There's an urgency. Just do it. Not maybe do it. I think I can do it. Just do it. There's an urgency. Because it's about performance. Equally, the recognition sign. Ladies, if I say red bottom shoes, what am I talking about? Absolutely. I didn't even need to say the name. I just needed to say red bottom shoes to the target audience. Notice I didn't say gentlemen, because that's not the target audience.
I have no idea why you said that.
Absolutely. And that falls here. Brands, products and services, target audience. So that's why it's so important. Emotionally, how I connect with women is very different to how I connect with men. My fiance has a Porsche Panamera. I'm going to turn here now. Ignore you, not target audience. He has a Porsche Panamera. It costs £60,000. And I nearly lost my mind. I was like, babe, why did you buy a £60,000 car? And he was like, because it's a Porsche.
I agree.
See what I mean? Emotionally, what is it doing? How does it make you feel as men if you drive a luxury car like a Porsche?
Outstanding.
There you go. Outstanding. It's status. It's look at me and I'm a man. And I don't understand any of that. I just know it costs $60,000 and I'm confused. But that's what brands do. The colour scheme is also very important in creating that emotional connection. The Coca-Cola, the red of the Coca-Cola is because Coca-Cola are promising you that when you drink Coke, you're going to feel energized. And so the red reinforces the energy. Companies spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on creating this emotional connection, tapping into the psychology of the consumer, because people buy from their heart, not from their head. If I bought from my head, I would not buy an apple for £1,500. It's a computer, but it's an apple. So I pay £1,500. If I bought from my head, I wouldn't pay, I'm so ashamed to say this, £8,000 for a bag. But it's
Probably they will agree with you.
yeah, but it's a coach.
Okay.
It's a coach. It's a coach. Crazy. But that's what we do as consumers.
Did your husband go crazy as well?
Yes, he did. And then I looked at the Porsche Panamera and said, say no more, please. Okay, so we're going to watch a quick video that's all about branding. Is that okay?
Sure.
Are we having fun?
Yeah.
And I don't know how to use this because it's not an apple. What do I do with this? Okay, come on. Slower. Oh God. Oh no, where are you?
Did you know you're exposed to over 4,500 brand messages every day? If you think that sounds like a lot, consider this. Today, my odyssey through 3,500 brands started out like this. My hands-on 4-1 radio goes off, it's tuned to National Public Radio. I grab my Oral-B toothbrush, put some Crest toothpaste on, take a shower with Irish Spring, use some deodorant, have a glass of Sunkist orange juice, a bowl of Cheerios, get in my jet, and of course, drive to Starbucks. Then I get to work, Dell computer, NEC monitor, Windows operating system, with an Intel Core 2 Duo processor inside. And then there's the cacophony of other brands we encounter daily. Energizer batteries, Robert Mountain Wine, DirecTV, CNN, the Green Bay Packers. We live in a brand-saturated world. That's why it's so important for your brand to stand out. But what is a brand? A brand represents people's gut feelings about your organization. Another way to say it is that your brand equals your reputation. We use brands as a form of mental shorthand. We create brands to summarize our attitudes about basically everything, whether that be people, places, or things. Brands represent all the things that pop into our minds when we think about a company or its products. For instance, Walmart is known for its low prices and wide selection. If I say Las Vegas, a subconscious rush of memories, experiences, and associations come flooding into your brain. This is the Vegas brand. Southwest Airlines is regarded as the cheap bus of the skies, with a quirky, fun personality. Coach is associated with its high-end luxury handbags. Apple is cool, creative, hip, intuitive, innovative, and stylish. How we relate to brands is a lot like how we relate to people. The instant you meet someone, you start forming impressions about them, making little mental notes about how they look and the things they say and do. As time goes by, we make adjustments, amplifying some attributes while adding or deleting others. It works the exact same way with brands. Everything you do and say influences how people think about you, and every interaction is an opportunity to build your brand. Every time they see an ad, swipe their debit card, or use online banking, they are interacting with your brand. So what is your brand? It isn't your name or logo or tagline or products or branches or advertising or website. Your brand is all these things. These are the tools you can use to strategically shape and influence people's feelings about your organization. But ultimately, your brand will be built by what you do, not what you say, and the experiences you deliver every day. So what is your brand? Your brand is your promise. It is your pledge, your commitment. Your brand is what you stand for. And it is your organization's singular driving focus.
Okay, what do you think?
I agree.
You agree? Tell me why.
Because the society is working this way. Whenever you're going to make a purchase decision, other than quality and price, you have to think about the brand.
Absolutely.
Or before that.
Absolutely, or before that. Good point. Because actually, whether it's B2B and you're trying to get a client to buy into your services, or B2C and you're trying to get a consumer to purchase, the decision-making process happens before the signature on the contract or the money over the till. And it's about how do you emotionally get them to a place where the buying process is quite straightforward and very simple. Now, today we're talking about global branding. And the reason why 9 times out of 10 companies get it wrong when they leave their domestic market and go to international markets is because they forget the basic principle, which is that to build a brand internationally, you have to focus on tapping into the consumer's buying habits and why they buy. And ultimately, that is about the emotional connection with the consumer. Let's take Apple as an example. When Apple first went into the Chinese market, okay? So this is 10 years ago, is that correct? Right. Did they do well in comparison to Samsung?
I think they did. Yeah.
No, they didn't.
In terms of the iPhone product, I mean iPhone 1, iPhone 2.
When they first went into the market, not now, when they first went into the Chinese market, they didn't. And the reason why they didn't do well in this market is because there were North American brands that has done exceptionally well in the Western market, and they took the arrogance of being North American to an international market for them and forgot the basic principle, which is we are dealing with people, and people buy from their hearts. How do we emotionally connect into the target audience in China? Now, you cannot emotionally connect with somebody if you don't know them, if you don't understand them. If I wanted you to be my fiance, I couldn't just say, be my fiance, which is basically what brands do when they don't know their audience. They say, buy. Well, how can I do that? That's ridiculous. I have to get to know you, I have to learn you, I have to court you, etc., etc., etc. And that's really where Apple went wrong. If Apple had studied the target audience, they would have learned that in the Western market, we liked originally the smaller interface of a product. Is that an Apple?
Yes.
Okay, of course it is. You're an Apple. So the original product in the Western market was a lot smaller. Okay? The Samsung understood its target market in China, understood the person who they wanted to marry. And so they knew that a bigger interface was important in the Chinese market. Apple didn't know that. Because they didn't understand how to connect emotionally, their product offering was wrong. Their product offering was wrong, and subsequently they didn't sell as much as they wanted to their target demographic. It all boils down to not product or price, but brand connection. Because brand connection is about who are you talking to and what makes them tick from their heart space. Once you understand that, you know what product and services to create in order to get them to buy. So, let's look at this in a little bit more detail. I'm slowing down for translation. Louis Vuitton. They have multiple product categories in their portfolio, but it doesn't start at product. It starts with what is the brand essence, those values that they claim that they stand for as an organisation. And Louis Vuitton say that they are the potent symbol of modern style. They create innovative, elegant and practical modern day luxury. Welcome to Cambridge, where everything ticks and goes off. And the way that they emotionally connect and get this across is through everything from the brand personality, where it's elegant and practical and prestigious, but also down to how they operate as an organisation. So as an organisation, they, for example, do not believe in discounting policies. They believe that emotionally, to connect with their target audience, they are dealing with people who like and want luxury. And discounting is below them. No, darling, no, we don't discount. because they can afford luxury. And therefore they understand that if they had a discounting policy, it would actually go against the core belief systems of their target audience. So their operations are set up that they don't have a discounting policy. Their operations are set out that they want luxurious engagement with their consumers so much that they will only do standalone boutiques. They don't sublet to other retailers. You won't find a Louis Vuitton section in a larger shopping mall. They want standalone boutiques. Everything about the brand promise and the brand essence permeates every facet of the organisation, not just the advertising department. And if you look at the product categories, they all reinforce what that brand promises. So whether you're buying a Louis Vuitton bag, or whether you're buying accessories, or whether you're buying clothing, what you're saying is, what they are saying is that you are getting modern style. Not traditional, but modern style. Let's look at another example. The BMW Group. The BMW Group say that the brand promise is sheer driving pleasure. And when we look at their product categories, the Range Rover, who is the target audience for the Range Rover? Not Range Rover, sorry, for the Rolls Royce.
Richest man?
Rich men, yes. What age group, roughly?
Mature.
Mature, absolutely. 55 plus is the Range Rover demographic. Who do you think the target audience is for the Mini?
Teenagers?
Teenagers. Okay,
Or the younger generation?
great. How many teenagers can afford a £15,000 car?
As long as they have a rich parents.
So good, parents. And actually, the target audience is mothers for the Mini. The reason why it's mothers is because BMW Group understand that when children from middle class and rich families go to college, the mother is the one who's like, oh, my baby is leaving. My baby needs to be safe. The child is 21. My baby is leaving. And so they tap emotionally to that fear and they say, we'll pay $15,000 for this safe, sheer, driving, cool pleasure, and your baby will be safe. So whether the target audience is men who are 55 and above or mothers who are fearful of their college students, the brand promise remains the same. Sheer driving pleasure for that older man, sheer driving pleasure for that young college student. And I love here what BMW Group said. They say, we don't just build cars, we create emotions. We are guarantors of enthusiasm, fascination, and goosebumps. We give you the keys to discover ever-growing, ever-evolving joy. They don't say, buy because this is a good car, it has a great engine, the wheels are fantastic. The engineering department are not focused on the wheels, they are focused, all of the organisation, from engineering to HR, are focused on how do we create the ultimate driving experience, not how do we create a good car. Okay, so, over to you. Who runs businesses here? I know you do, sir. You have a business? Do you have a business, ladies? No business? Do you have a business? Yes, okay. Do you have a business,
I
sir?
just graduated.
Sorry?
I just graduated.
You just graduated, so you are yourself, okay. Does the gentleman have a business?
Yeah, he does.
He does, okay. Tell me a little bit about the gentleman's business, please.
He's doing internet platforms.
Internet platforms, lovely, like. And your business, sir?
Business consulting. Also.
Business consulting. So you are the brand. You are the consultant that goes out. Love it. What's your business?
Jewelry business
Jewelry. For women or men?
for women.
Oh, lovely.
Yes.
Thank you. And yourself, what do you do, ma'am?
I work in a bank.
You work in a bank. So are you hoping to run a business one day or hoping to go up the corporate ladder?
Maybe I maybe run my own business.
Okay.
Not sure.
Not sure. And if you ran a business, do you have an idea on what sort of business you would want to run?
Maybe a consultant.
A consultancy. Okay, so for the purpose of today, I'm going to ask you all to see yourselves as your own brand managers. In both of your cases, you are the brand. You are like me. I am the brand. People are buying me as a consultant. In your case, obviously, it's your jewelry business. So you are a brand also. Do you want to run a business, or do you want to go in and work for somebody?
I want to run a business.
You want to? What sort of business?
It depends.
It depends.
Yeah.
You're not sure yet.
Not sure yet.
Okay, but for today, therefore, you are starting this business, and obviously the gentleman has his own business.
Yeah.
So I want us to do our first exercise, which is I want you to think about what is it that you are promising. What are you doing? What do people buy in when they get you? What is that promise? If I pay £10,000 for you as a consultant, what are you promising me? Number one. And number two, how are you connecting with your target audience emotionally? And number three, who is your target audience? Shall I say that again? What is your promise? Do you need pens and papers? You okay? Okay. What is your promise? How are you connecting emotionally? And who are you connecting with? Who's your target audience? I'm going to give you 5 minutes. Sure. Okay. My business consultant.
Not quite ready.
You're not quite ready. Oh, bless you. Okay, somebody else. Young man.
Okay, do I have to stand? Or?
Yes, please. That would be awesome. You can stand there because then we can see you. Yeah.
I'll do Mr. Man first.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, he's the. As I said, he is doing an internet platform, which related to businesses and traveling. So basically, is the meaning of his business, or the heart of his business, is trying to connect businesses and try to cooperate with other people, trying to attract them with other people with business and traveling together.
Nice.
So the idea is when you have a business or trying to cooperate with me, we will do the business well, and I promise you I will take you to travel the world.
Nice.
Yeah.
So it's like a gifting.
Yeah.
Let's say I do business with the gentleman here, I could say to gift you, I would then take you to, I don't know, New York.
Yeah, and the slogan, the emotional attraction, I think is trying to be successful with us, trying to cooperate, and then finish your dream, travel the world.
Finish your dream.
Yeah.
I like, that's a good emotion.
Sure, yeah.
Because everybody in business has a dream, a
Yeah, be
vision.
wealthy and entertaining.
Oh, wealthy. Everybody wants to, definitely business people want to feel like they're wealthy. I like that. Those are good emotives
Sure.
to tap into. Good, good. Okay, and
My
yours?
job. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I just got now. Yeah, I'm his brand manager now. Yeah.
Oh, praise God.
I don't know what I'm going to do for the future because I can't see at the moment. I can't see many opportunities. Yeah, but if myself, trying to be myself, I try to be. If I want to try, if I try to attract my employer. Yeah. Employer. Yeah. If I try to attract my employer, I think I need to be my selling point. I think as a personal, I think I'm going to be smart, enthusiastic of job, and looking for improvements. And then my selling point, I think the slogan, or I think I have no idea.
Bless you. When I interview you, how do you want me to feel about you? You know, when I walk away, how do you? And I'm talking to my my fiance at dinner. How should I feel about this young man?
I think you can feel me in two different ways. Social life. I will try to be polite, or I try to take care of everyone, and then in an academic way or the functional way. Yeah? I will present all my certificate, and I'm trying to answer your question in a more professional ways. Depends on your businesses or area. And then finally, I will try to cooperate or sit or anything at the position. I'm trying to create an atmosphere to try to make you feel I'm a pro.
Because when I first of all, thank you, please, thank you. We are living in a world where we are all brands. If you're in business, you are a brand. Whether you are the face of your own business or you are trying to get employed, you are a brand. And we all should be thinking quite strategically about how do I want this person to feel, because branding is 100% about that. And when I just met you for an hour, already I feel this is a young man who is going to make an atmosphere enjoyable. I don't, by the time you get to interview stage, I've already seen your CV. I know what your education is. I know that you have a good car engine. Now what I want to know is, can I connect with you emotionally? When people ask on job interviews, is there a cultural fit? That's what they're talking about. They're talking about emotional connection. Can I have you in my organization? Very good. Okay. Michelle?
Yes.
No, Michelle. Michelle and Sheila.
Okay.
Sorry, Michelle. Sheila.
I am now working in a bank. I'm not running my own business, but I would like to start my own business in the future, but not sure whether I can succeed or not. But anyway, my mission or my, how do I say, my promise is confidence. I will let my customers full of confidence.
That's a good emotion.
To my service provider. And the emotion is just like a friend. We because friends they will have no cheating within friends. So that build up the confidence more. Strengthen the confidence.
Confidence is a good word. And I'll tell you why. Whether you're trying to develop a brand in North America, in Europe, in South America, in Australia, people are the same. The way we execute execute our behavior might be different, but the essence of human beings is the same. Fear, confidence, elegance, happiness, security, all of those things are just common denominators amongst human beings anywhere. So if you want to do global business, as long as you tap into that human connection, you will be able to sell your business anywhere. Because once you've understood, thank you, you can sit down. Once you've understood the emotion, then you just need to work out the how, which is where marketing comes in. Once you've understood that my audience, no matter where they are in the world, want to feel confident, as an example, then you might say, okay, I've got a product that's going to work really well in the UK market, but how in the UK do I need to communicate confidence? How do they understand confidence in the UK? Do I need to communicate it through billboards? Do I need to communicate it through a beautiful woman with long blonde hair walking confidently? Do I need to communicate it with a man looking strong? How do I communicate confidence? Or if I'm in South America and I want to communicate confidence, do I need to communicate it via Twitter? Because that's very big. And do I need to communicate it via a very beautiful Latin American Filipino lady? The how is marketing. Sometimes people think branding and marketing are the same thing, and they are not. Marketing is how you communicate. Branding is what you are trying to communicate, what you are promising. So let's keep going.
I got a question.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, will you categorize branding as a business strategy or business operation? I mean, in terms of the actual production?
Absolutely. Branding, and we'll get to this a little bit later, branding is a component that touches, or should touch, every facet of the organization. Marketing is a division within the organization.
So are you saying branding should be upper quarter?
Absolutely, absolutely. From chairman, the brand needs to be clear. When I, as a consultant, go into businesses, I'll give you an example. I went into a bank. The bank had 3,500 employees, and so they're an international bank, right? And they said to me, when they first met me, they said, the brief is to work out what is going wrong with our brand. And they said, one senior management team said, you know, it's the advertising agencies. They don't understand the brief. And then another person said, no, it's the sales guys. They're not selling the brand properly. And in my head, I knew that it was none of those issues because I've been doing this for so long. And I said to them, I can guarantee you, before I even go into your organization, that it's probably none of those issues. It is probably an internal problem. Usually what happens, if you think about the shape of an organization, a large corporate organization, you have the chairman or woman, the board of directors, you have the senior management team, and you have all of the divisions underneath here, right? Now usually, what happens is the chairman or the founder, they are very clear on the brand. They are clear on the vision and the promise. And usually they are very good at communicating that to the board and the senior management team. You know, every week they have board meetings and senior management meetings. And so everybody at the top understands the brand, understands what is the vision, what is the promise, what is the culture of the organization. And usually it is the people underneath who are executing that vision that don't have a clue what is going on. And usually that is why the brand has a problem. Or what you might find is marketing, they understand, because the people at the top think that branding falls under marketing. But HR and everybody else, finance and legal and operations, they don't understand. And when a brand is not being communicated across the entire organization, then externally, the customer doesn't know what's going on. But let's come back to that in a minute. Let's look at the difference in more detail between branding and marketing. I'm slowing down. So, branding and marketing. As brand specialists, we say that branding is your pull. It is the reason why people are drawn to you. And marketing is your push. It is what you are communicating out to the world. And let's look at this. Marketing includes things like the creative aspects, design, and the look and feel of your logo, and the look and feel of your ad campaign. That is the creative aspect of marketing, or brand design is the correct word. Equally, PR, your TV interviews, your radio interviews, all of those things are vehicles to push the message out there. Your billboards, your flyers, your corporate brochures are all vehicles to push the message out. Digital, the new phenomenon with LinkedIn and what do you have in China as Facebook? What's the equivalent?
Weibo.
Weibo? Weibo. Okay.
It's
Weibo.
a Chinese version of Facebook.
It's the Chinese version of Facebook. That is the equivalent. It's a push, again, pushing messages
Facebook's a Weibo.
out there. But also your events, your trade shows that you might attend as a consultant, or your London Fashion Week trade show that you might go to as somebody who's launching a jewelry line. Those are all marketing vehicles to push the message. And partnerships. Whether you have strategic partnerships, your bank would have strategic partnerships, or you and I might have a strategic partnership. Those are all marketing tools that push the message, but they are not branding. Your values, your promise, your essence, and your history is what's going to pull people towards you. So, before I jump, I haven't forgotten you, sir. You asked me to give you a minute to think about it.
Nice try.
Nice try, yes. I don't forget.
Execution.
Tell me a little bit about your brand promise, please. I'm going to sit.
Actually, quite similar to Mr. Han.
Uh-huh.
Just like want to make my customer dream come true. Yeah.
Oh, I like that. That's good.
That's what I want to deliver.
Good, make their dreams come true. That's so poignant. It's such a good emotion because it resonates with business people. Who is your target audience, though?
I would say students and parents, will be my target.
Students?
Yeah, most of the time.
And parents?
Yeah, education business.
And, educating my business. I love that. Fantastic. Good. Thank you, sir. All right. Let's look at this a little bit more depth. You asked the question about branding. Is it at the top of the organisation?
Sure.
So, your staff in branding should be your number one customer. Your staff should be your number one customer.
What? I mean, your employee, yeah?
Your employee. I was talking to you about the bank that I went in and did an audit for. The first problem with the bank was that HR were employing the wrong people. The bank was 150 years old, and they claimed, their promise was that they were a bank that understood the market, that understood the higher echelons of the market, middle class and above, and that they could cater to enhancing their wealth creation. That was their promise. It's a good promise. But HR, going back to my picture of this corporate setting, the board and senior management understood that. HR didn't get it because it hadn't been communicated internally. And so they were hiring people based off of who can we get cheaply. And so they were hiring people from the lower end of the market. Now banking is built on trust. If I go into a bank and I've got wealth, and you are across the till and you are claiming that you are going to manage my wealth, if you look like somebody who didn't even go to college, I'm not going to trust you. And that's how branding exists in each department. So because in an organisation like this bank, the brand promise had not been communicated to HR, HR were hiring the wrong staff. And so people would walk into the bank and walk right back out again. They were not getting new customers. The other thing that was going on is that the marketing teams, and in this bank, because they're a very big organisation, they had different departments. They had a digital department, they had a PR department, they had a creative department, and they also had what we call a media buying agency. Everybody know what media buying is?
Media buying. I think it's something like advertising.
Perfect. Media buying is the agency that goes and gets you the best rates for your advertising campaign. So they had all of these divisions underneath marketing comms, and each of these divisions, because the brand hadn't been communicating, were making up their own version of what the brand should be. So you had communication messages being pushed that were just all over the place. You know, the creative team had images of young, cool people, but they're not communicating to young, cool people. They're communicating to people in the higher echelons of society. The media buying people thought that it was students, so the advertising billboards were placed near universities, again, nowhere near the demographic. And the PR people thought that it was all about the chairman. And so the PR messages was about how great the chairman was. None of which was on brand. Yes.
I'm just curious, how did you resolve the problem you said previously?
How do I resolve the problem? Well, first of all, I go to the organisation and I say, I need to meet your chairman or your founder and your board so I can understand what really is the brand according to your vision at the top of the tree. Then I say, can I have a meeting with all the heads of department, individually?
I see, because you are afraid they're getting fired after.
They are afraid they will get fired. I'm not afraid, I've got a job.
Okay.
But I have to make them feel secure, because trust is important with consultancy.
Sure.
So I meet them individually, and I meet them anonymously.
Sure.
And I get their feedback, their names are not recorded, who I met, and I ask them, what is the brand vision? And I know that every single one of these people, from research and development to production, customer services to legal, finance to suppliers, distribution to HR, are going to give me a different answer. And they did. And then I say, can I meet your teams? So I go and meet the respective departmental teams, and I anonymously get them to fill out forms so they don't have to put their name, and they tell me about the brand. Is it good? Is it bad? What is the mission? What is the promise? How do the customers really feel? And then I also go and visit, because this was a bank, I went and visited all of their flagship stores in all of their territories around the world. So I travel a lot for my job. And then I go and I meet the external customer. And I have a team normally that will do questionnaires, etc. Laura's been part of that for the UK market, and asks questions to customers. Do you know this brand? What do you think of the brand? And I collate all of that information back and spend weeks and weeks with my team analysing what is going on. And 9 times out of 10, what is going on is that nobody bloody well knows what the brand promises.
I just have another outside question, a relevant question.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you spend on researching about all
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends.
Is it really expensive? Because
It doesn't have to be. If it's a new, there's 2 types of research. There's a new brand launch, you're going to a new territory, you're going to research the territory to be able to penetrate that market. or there's a rebranding exercise, which is what I was doing with the bank. And with a rebranding, you don't have to pay researchers. You have to talk to the people. So you hire me and the team, and then we talk to the people, and we then gauge based on talking to the people. And we start with the number one customer, which is staff. At the moment, we are working with a large food and beverage company in the Southeast Asian market. And everybody in each of these divisions, they don't even believe in the brand. They don't even believe in it. And so what that means is the number one customer is not buying. And if you have 1,000 staff who have 1,000 families, how much new customers could that potentially be without even needing to do any push marketing? So you have to get your number one customer to buy and believe and love the brand. Yes, sir. You want to
Because I'm seeing some technique, because we went to a jewelry shop yesterday, and the staff all wearing the very luxury, and their product, even their products sometimes.
Yes.
Is that a marketing HRM skill, or?
It's a branding tool. So it's an internal branding tool, and it's an external marketing push.
Do you believe that will increase how your first customer, like the employee, to believe your brand looks, to understand the meaning of their brand?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, when I worked with Nike, everybody wore Nike. Because they loved the brand, they believed in it. I mean, first of all, the company helped them because you have a huge discount policy as an employee, so you can get it for virtually cheap. But, you know, you want your number one customer feeling about the brand the way you do as the chairman or the chairwoman or the founder. That's key. If your staff don't buy into this brand, nobody else is going to buy into it.
So do you think the employment, the process is difficult because for some people to come interview for your company doesn't necessarily like your brand, or do you train them?
It's a combination. I think at HR stage you need to employ people who have the same belief systems that the company has. So if, for example, at Apple's brand promise is about innovation, it's about changing the status quo. They employ young people who believe in changing the status quo. They employ young people who are a little bit rebellious. Because Apple is a rebellious brand.
Sure.
If you employed somebody who believed in tradition, Apple's not for you. So it starts in HR, but even in finance. You know, let's take McDonald's. 5 years ago, McDonald's had a whole case about their suppliers using meat that had fallen on the floor. You guys have heard about that, right?
Sure.
Okay. It made their global profits plummet by 25%. By 25%, that's huge.
Sure.
Plummeting. And that was because the supply chain and the supply division did not understand the brand. McDonald's is a family brand. That is their promises to families for convenient food. If the supply chain understand that, they would never pick up food from the floor that's going to go to 2-year-olds and put it in a burger. If they really believed in the brand.
Sure.
Really what's going on is the supply chain just see it as McDonald's. Money. The big M. They don't see it as 2-year-olds are going to eat this meat. That's the reality of not getting the internal branding right.
Sure.
Because people are people. The supply chain is a person who's picking up the meat, who probably has a 2-year-old or a grandchild that's a 2-year-old. And if they thought, my baby could eat this meat, they would never pick it up off the floor and put it in a burger. So branding is a business driver that starts at the top, but if it's not fed into every single division, including the partners and the external distribution, it's lost and impacts the bottom line. Okay, let's keep going. I love your questions. All right, so anybody here have staff? Staff? Do you have staff?
Yes.
Employees?
Yeah.
Employees, good. Yep, you have employees? Employees, sir? Yes. And you two, you don't?
No.
Not yet. But you work for somebody. So I want you now to do this exercise for the company you work for. And sir, if you could work with him
Sure,
on the
yeah.
exercise. Okay. So this exercise is about what do you think your staff or fellow employees feel about the brand? And most importantly, where is the evidence to support that? And this is what I mean. Usually when I go and I speak to the founders, I say, what do your staff think? They say, our staff love the brand. They support the brand. And I say, okay, how do you know that? They tell me, yes, because you pay their salary. But how do you really know that? When you look at their, I'll give you an example. I have a member of staff. She does my PR. And she claims to love the brand. And my brand is about, assisting other people to commercialize their dreams. And I said, but your worksheet tells me that you're not working to capacity. You're not delivering. How can you love the brand and believe in the brand if you can't even be bothered to do the work to make the brand support? That's evidence. I would like to think that she loves the brand, but the evidence is that she would rather...
In terms of qualities or capacity?
Capacity.
Okay.
Based on her capacity and her work outputs, the evidence is telling me she actually doesn't really believe in the brand.
So she's doing the job not enough?
She's doing the job because she gets paid,
Okay. Sure.
not because she believes it.
Oh, I think that okay. The only way in Japan, I know people who really like my brand is who pay money to buy and bring their friends come.
那他问你，你的员工为什么
见证。
对，就是他问你，你觉得你的员工了解你的品牌吗？如果
嗯
他们了解的话，你有证据证明他们了解。你的
Okay.
员工不是你的
不是客人，
你的员工。
哦，员工啊。
对。
Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, yeah. My customer also, yeah.
Employee.
Because customer and employee, for me sometimes it's the same because employee also wants to buy something.
Good.
Yeah, and in Japan, my first customer are my employees.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Now, the question I need as the managing directors and also as a fellow employee is, other than sales, how do you know they really love the brand? And this is about you being honest with yourself as business owners. Because as business owners, we would like to think our staff love it. Okay? But that's not always true. In fact, 8 times out of 10, they hate you as a boss. Because you make them work. And you don't pay them enough.
Okay.
So do you think the evidence of buying the company products aren't a clear evidence to prove that?
No, because sometimes they'll do it because it's cheaper.
Okay.
Because you're giving them discounts.
Oh.
他说，员工买你的东西未必是了解跟喜欢你的品牌，
哦
是因为他们便宜。
So really, what I want you to think about is where is the evidence? Where is when you think about each one of your employees?
Okay, knowledge.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, the people who can talk about what the products really. Yeah,
Yes.
the
Product
good
knowledge
point.
is a good example. Yes. Okay. How else? Do you want to take a minute to think about it?
Yes.
Okay.
I
Let's
like.
take, conscious of time, let's take maybe 2-3 minutes and help yourself to some more coffee as you're thinking.
Okay.
你可以跟他解释。
Space.
他说，尤其你在国际上的话，不可能每天。
You can't monitor them in the same way that you do in your domestic
所
market.
以要相信。
You know, in your domestic market, you can travel from boutique to boutique, or they're in your office. But when you go international, if you haven't got a brand where people are buying into it beyond being paid, how are you going to have global success?
他说，如果你要传出中国，然后让
So let's get some more feedback. What are your thoughts on the question? I'll start with you, sir. You have staff.
Depend on how his action, he will give suggestion to you, the management, how to do a better job,
Yes.
or about the operation,
Yes.
or some other idea to increase the revenues,
Yes.
the way to make more client, or this is
Absolutely.
also what I get.
Absolutely. One of the evidence is feedback.
Feedback,
You're
yeah.
so correct.
Yeah.
You know, Laura, as an example, working with the Eurasia, she's dealing with the customer, which is you guys in this case, more than the chairman. So who is the best person to say how the customer feels, the chairman or Laura? Surely it's Laura. And so empowering staff with that feedback is critical, and listening and acting upon the feedback makes them feel like, yeah, I'm important. And then they own the brand, right, Laura? Yeah? If you don't listen and act on it, after a while they just think, oh, what's the point? Oh, okay, I'll just turn up. I get paid at the end of the month anyway. Yeah? Okay, how else do we get evidence that our staff are buying into the brand? What do you think?
As a bank, as my company, I know that they are emphasizing on era 3. Era 3. It is very secure if you put money into our bank. This is my company's promise to the public.
And how are the staff buying into that? Do they believe that?
Because I found that there are many steps on controlling to make there is really no errors. Actually, it is not zero, but comparing with the other banks, the error rate is very low. It is true.
But do you as the staff, do you believe in it, or are you doing it because the boss said so?
Yes.
Which one?
The second one.
You're doing it because the boss said so. Okay. That's honest. How could the bosses make you believe in it as staff?
Keep on saying every day.
Really?
Yes.
If they just kept saying it to you?
Yes.
Wouldn't that be annoying?
Yes.
Yeah, it would.
Brainstorming.
Brainstorming, yes. So how else? How could they make you feel that you wanted to make it an error-free bank?
Try the best to let us believe that it is the only way to protect our money.
Your money as the employees?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, the customers' money and the staff.
And the staff money, absolutely. Because if the staff feel like my money is being protected, then they are more likely going to protect the customer's money. Absolutely. Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering, I'm trying to relate it to the realistic case. I think whenever the employees stay in a company for longer, especially the young generation, they tend to lose their enthusiastic and they want to get paid only rather than following the aim or the brand of the company.
So how do you change that?
Yeah, is that why so many companies can't be as successful as the other company?
I think it's because they haven't studied their audience. If your employees are your number one customers, you have to study them. What do they want? They're human beings too. And people honestly don't work to get paid. Getting paid is important because we need to pay bills, but we don't work to get paid. Human beings work for other reasons.
Because the culture in China is so different. People actually work to get survival.
Survival,
Yeah.
not paid. It's different.
Yes, in China, it's the same thing.
Paid and survival.
Yeah.
What does survival really mean?
In Western country, I think it's enjoy experience.
Okay, so let me ask you, how old are you, sir?
I'm 25.
25.
Yeah.
Okay, what does survival mean to you?
To have a better life.
What does that mean?
Rich.
What does that mean? Rich,
Yeah.
what would that look like? What would you be doing?
What you mean now or?
No, you.
future?
What would you be doing? You want to be rich?
Yeah, I
You're
want to do
25.
some business. Yeah.
Okay, you want to do business. Okay, but if you were rich, what would you do with that money?
It depends. When I got the money.
No, now. If you were rich now at 25, what would you do with that money?
Or go out.
Go out where?
Travel.
You travel. Good. If he is my employee, in addition to money,
Oh.
I would, once a month, for the person who performs the best, take them, where do you want to travel to?
Okay, take the destination.
Destination.
Yeah.
Because that's what he wants.
Oh, that's what I mean.
It's about understanding the consumer, and it's about providing the consumer with their heart space, not their head space. Head says survival, money. Heart says, I want to travel. So you tap into the heart space as the employee. And then they know this is a great company to work for. Then all of a sudden it's, I love this company. When I do well, I go to wherever I want to travel to. The reason why, shut up. The reason why Google are doing so well as a company is because they do two things. One, if staff want a business, they give them 2 hours every week in company time to work on their own business.
What?
Google.
Google.
Yep. If staff want to run their own business, they give them 2 hours every week in company time to work on their own business.
Wow.
They say you can use our resources, work on your own business. And then they say to them, when your business idea gets to a point where you're looking for investment, come to us first.
Oh.
And if the board of directors think that that business can work, they put a little bit of seed money into it. Then, two things happen. One, you retain staff. Two, you attract good staff. And the third thing is, you're setting up another business which ultimately gives you a residual income. That's just smart. That's understanding your customer. Did you hear all of that? Because I know you were translating.
Not really, sorry.
Okay, I'll slow down and stop for you. I was saying that Google, they ask their staff who wants to have a business. And all the staff that want a business, they give them 2 hours every week in company time to work on their own business development. And then they say to them, when your business idea gets to a place where you're ready for seed money, come to us first. Let us invest in it. And I was explaining that it actually does 3 things. One, it makes staff happy and it keeps staff. Because then, instead of them sneaking on your time to do their own work, check their Facebook, respond to their stuff, they have a dedicated time, and then they have a dedicated time for your work. The other thing it does is it makes it a cool place to work, so it attracts good talent. And lastly, if the business is at a place where they can invest, they've got residual income from another business.
你的投资，他说你需要钱的时候，他说第一个投资者找我，但公司说你弄好了，你给我报价，第一个投资者就找我，好的，我们投资，这样子。
Mr. Hard likes the last one, right?
Yeah.
Another business. Okay, it's lunchtime, so I'm going to hand you over to Laura and I'll see you this afternoon.
Okay.
If you guys would like to follow me, we're going to the anchor, we're going to have some fish and chips.
I'm not even shopping today.